Hey, what's up? Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to talk about how we onboard and create financial accounts, which are similar to bank accounts, but they are not technically bank accounts. They are a store of funds, and we've already got a custom Connect onboarding flow. So if you haven't seen that yet, head back and watch the previous episode in this series. And otherwise, let's jump in. All right, so at this point, our payouts are still disabled. They're not enabled for this connected account. And so what we need to do is create a financial account, and then we're going to use the details of that financial account to create an external account where we're going to have money flow into. So if we head over to the dashboard here, we can go into Stripe Connect and find the connected account that we just created. This is for test. Now, underneath the dashboard, we can see all kinds of details about this account. And if we go to the From This Account logs and view the account logs, then we can open up the Stripe dashboard sort of as this connected account. What's nice about this is we can inspect the events that are firing on this account. And one of them that's really important is this treasury capability has new requirements or status. So the event type that we're going to listen for is capability.updated. And what we want to know is when the treasury capability has become active. So the status is now active. Once the treasury capability on the account is activated, that means that they have agreed to the terms of service and provided enough KYC information during onboarding. Once that is active, we know that we can then create a financial account. So what we want to do is inside of our handler here, we want to add a new event type called when capability.updated. We're going to handle capability.updated. Okay, so here, handle capability.updated. And this is going to say the capability is Stripe event.data.object. Now inside of there, we're going to check to see if the ID is treasury. So if capability.id is treasury, then we know that, and capability.status is active. So if the ID is treasury, and the status is active, then we know that this is activated. So if the treasury capability is activated, then we want to create a financial account for the connected account. So the way this works is, again, we're going to use our Stripe account helper and add some methods in there that will make API calls. So in order to make sure that we're using the right account, we want to find the account by the capability.account, which should be here. So that's the account that the capability just was updated on. So we're finding the account by that capability. And then what we want to do is say ensure financial account. So I'm going to call it ensure rather than create, because it's possible for some reason that it might already have a financial account, but we're just going to call it ensure financial account. So this, or actually no, what we want to do here is say, we want to say service is Stripe account.new for account, and then we're going to call service.ensure financial account. So now let's head back over to the service, and here is where we're going to say ensure financial account. So in order to ensure the financial account, we want to return if this is. All right, you're getting ahead of me. Return if the financial account is present. So in this case, what I think we want to do is actually store the ID of the financial account on the account object itself. So we'll say financial account ID, and then what we want to do is generate a migration that will add a new column to the account table for tracking the financial account ID. So Rails G migration add financial account ID to accounts, financial account ID. All right, let's see if we got this right. Financial accounts to accounts. All right, that looks good. Rails DB migrate. Okay, so now we should have that new column on the account. So we can go back to Stripe account. We're inside of ensure, so if the account ID, if it's not nil, then what we want to do is we want to create a new financial account. So let's look at the API reference for financial account. So we want to create a financial account. This is inside of Stripe Treasury. So this is how we create a financial account. Financial account. So we want to pass in the number or the supported currencies, in this case USD. We also want to pass in some features that we want to enable. So in here, what I'm going to do is pass in a bunch of features. This is very similar to capabilities on the connected account, but this is the features of the financial account. So we're going to say card issuing is requested, and then deposit insurance. I mean, sure, we'll request it. Requested. Okay, what else do we got? We've got financial addresses, ABA requested. So here it's going to be something financial. So by requesting financial addresses, this is going to give us access to an account and routing number, the same way that you might have an account and routing number on your bank account that you use for checking and savings and whatever. What's really cool about this is you can use these ABA routing numbers from anywhere, right? So like you could use this to send payments for like your mortgage or things like that outside of Stripe. All right, so now we also, we want inbound transfers. So we want inbound transfers via ACH. I think this is going to be requested. Yep. Okay, what else do we want? Intra-Stripe flows. Yeah, sure, we want to request intra-Stripe flows. And what else do we want? Maybe we want outbound payments and outbound transfers. So we'll do outbound payments using ACH, requested true, and also via US domestic wire, requested true. And we also want to do transfers, outbound transfers. And it looks like we can do that with the same stuff. So we'll just grab those. Okay, so ACH and US domestic wire, that all makes sense. Okay, so we've got our features set. Are there any platform restrictions? Do we want to restrict inbound or outbound flows? I don't think so. So this is a good place to call that good. Now what we want to do is we want to update our account, our underlying account model in the database, and set the financial account ID to financialaccount.id. And that should create our financial account. So again, this is happening inside of our webhook handler, right? So we're going to say, as soon as we have the capability updated, where we now have the treasury capability and it's active, we are going to ensure that we have a financial account. All right, so what we can do is jump into the Rails console, and we can find a capability.updated event that has the treasury capability. So capability.updated, and the ID there was card issuing, capability.updated, and this one was treasury. Okay, so we want event 42. So we're going to say E is event.find 42, and then handle event job perform now for E. Okay, so now we should be able to say account.last, and I thought it would have a financial account ID. It does not. I'm going to drop in a buy bug here just so that we can experiment and see what's going on. Handle event job.perform now, event.find, it was 42. Okay, we don't have buy bug installed, so let's exit. Bundle, add buy bug, group development. Because we only want buy bug in the development group so that it's not available everywhere. Rails C. Handle again. Okay, capability.id is treasury. Did I spell that right? Status is inactive. Uh-oh. Okay. So I found the wrong event, apparently. All right, so let's do this again. So we want to find the event.where the data's type is equal to capability.updated. Okay, now we want to find .where data object ID is treasury. All right, let's say we want to find an event where the capability is updated and where the data object's ID, so data object ID is equal to treasury. That should give us back all of the objects where those things both match. So event 54 is the one that we care about. So what we want to do is we want to rehandle this perform now for event.find 54. Now this is going to reprocess the event. We can see if the capability.status is active, and it is. And so what we should do now is find the account, and we do. And now it should actually ensure and create that financial account. So it hit the API and it says creating your own financial accounts via the API is not supported. Right, okay. So we're very close, very, very, very close. So inside of this Stripe account class for ensure Stripe account or ensure financial account, we are passing in all the arguments here, but we need to create this on behalf of the connected account. So here we need to pass in the Stripe account header for the connected account that we're creating this financial account for. So let's take out bybug, reload the terminal, and then run this again for event 54, and that should create a financial account. It looks like it did update the account and it set this new financial account ID on the account object. So if we look at account.last, we now have a financial account ID set. Great. Okay, so now what's interesting is that by creating that financial account, it also caused a bunch of events to fire. So there's a bunch of new event types that are related to this financial account. So what I want to do is I want to select the list of event types that just fired. So what I want to do is say something like event.pluck the data for the type. But this is like not secure because you can't pass a raw SQL string into pluck. So instead what we need to do is tell Rails that we know what we're doing and use arel.sql and pass that in directly, and then it'll let us start messing around. So here we have financial account created, or treasury.financial account created and treasury.financial account feature status updated. So what is this event.last? What does this actually look like? Well, the feature status updated, we can look at the previous attributes and we see that it had a bunch of different things on it. When the treasury financial account feature status updated event fires, that tells us that there are some active features on that financial account that are now available. One that we care a lot about is this financial addresses.aba, because this tells us that we are now able to access the routing and account number for this financial account that was just created. So we want to set up a new webhook handler for this event type. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to jump over to our handle event job. We're going to say when we get this event, we're going to handle financial account feature status updated. Yeah, sure. It's a long one, but we can deal with it. All right. So handle financial account feature status updated. Gosh, it's almost like we're writing Objective-C or something, how long that is. Okay, so then what we want to say is that I believe this is a financial account, right? The object type, yeah, so the object type here we're getting back is a financial account. So the financial account is stripe.data.object, good. Now we want to say something like if financial account features include, so if the active features, if it includes the financial addresses.aba, then what we want to do is create an external account with those, with the account and routing number on this thing. So we're going to go through a similar process to this. So we need to see if the financial account, does it have the account ID on here? So the account ID is available on the event object. So here we can just say stripe event.account. That should find the proper account. Then we're going to new up a Stripe account service, and then we're going to say ensure external account. So from inside of our service here, we're going to say ensure external account. This is going to, again, return if there's no account.external account ID. So inside of ensuring the external account, what we need to do is we're going to fetch the financial account. Then we're going to use the ABA addresses on the financial account to create an external account. So the first thing we need to do is fetch the financial account. And this requires passing along the financial account ID, which we have on the account, and also the account header. So we're going to say Stripe account is account.stripe ID. This should give us back a financial account. Now, by default, if we retrieve a financial account, I don't believe we get back the financial address. Let's take a look at this really quick. So I'm actually going to extract this into a helper method called financial account that will just return this. Okay, so if we open up the Rails console again and we say Stripe account.new account.first, then we say a.financial account, that will make a GET request to the Stripe API to retrieve the financial account that we just created. So this is the treasury financial account. We see here's all the active features. It includes this financial addresses.aba. Now, if we look at the financial addresses, we see that it has ABA, it has the account holder name, the last four of the account, the bank name, which is Stripe Test Bank in test mode, the routing number, but it doesn't have the account number. It has the routing number, but it does not have the account number. That's because when we make this request to retrieve the financial account, we need to expand the account number. So expand is a feature of the API where you can specify certain fields that you want to be sort of included or additionally sort of like polymorphically expanded to include. So when we're working with issuing and we want access to certain numbers, we might need to use expand, or when we're working with a checkout session, for instance, we don't get the line items back by default. We have to expand those. When we're working with a financial account, if we want the account number, the actual account number, we have to use expand in order to get access to that. So here we're going to say retrieve, and instead of just passing a string, we're going to pass ID is equal to this ID. Now we're going to pass expand, which takes an array, and we're going to pass in financial addresses.aba. And we might need to pass .account number. Okay, reload. Retrieve the financial account. And now we see the account number. So that's what we want to see. All right. So now every time we retrieve the financial account, it's coming back with the account number. Let me clean this up a little bit. Okay. So because most of these requests are going to include this header where we pass the Stripe account ID, I'm just going to make another helper method here at the very bottom called header. And it's going to return Stripe account is account.stripe ID. And that way we can just pass header here as the second argument to all of these. Okay, that'll just simplify things a little bit. All right, so now we have the financial account, and we can access like the financial addresses, and that will give us back a list of financial addresses. First dot ABA dot account number. So we want to use basically the first financial addresses ABA information. So financial addresses first.aba, and this is going to be like account info. All right, so now we want to use this account info to create an external account. So to create an external account, we're going to call it a bank account, and the way this works is this is a method on the account object where we call create external account. And we're going to pass in the external account, and we're going to pass these raw details. So the object is a bank account. The account number is going to be the account info.account number. The routing number is account info.routing number. We also want the country and the currency, and I think that might be it. Okay, we're also going to set this as the default for that currency as true. So this is going to become the new default external account for any USD payments that end up in our connected accounts balance. All right, let's store this off. So we're going to say account.update, and then the external account ID is going to now be bankaccount.id. Whew, all right, so now what we should be able to do, let's look back at our handle event job. This is going to happen when the Treasury Financial Account Feature Status Updated event fires. So let's reload Rails console, and we're going to say event.last. Hopefully it's still, yeah, okay, so now we can say handle event job.perform now for this thing. Okay, includes, it should be include. I get this wrong every single time. All right, reload. Handle now. Okay, method missing, undefined method, external account ID. Okay, did we not add that? Let's see, open up the schema, accounts, and yeah, we don't have an external account ID yet. So Rails G migration, add external account ID to accounts. So this is going to be external account ID. There's a lot of accounts, right? That looks right. Rails DB migrate. Okay, now we should be able to say Rails C. Handle that event job on the last thing. What happened here? Crashed and burned. All right. Error from sidekick, no implicit conversion from hash into string. Okay, so when we create the external account, the first argument we have to pass is the ID of the Stripe account. And then we pass all of the other stuff. So then it should look something like this. Let's try this again. And promising, 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 boom. Okay, that looks like a bank account. That is an external account. Okay, so now what have we actually done? We have connected a new Stripe account. So now our platform allows creators to onboard. When they onboard, they're given a brand new custom connect account. That custom connect account, underneath it has a financial account. We just created an external account, which means that we can move. We created an external account for our connected account so that we can move money from our connected account into our financial account, which is now considered the external account. It's so confusing. It can be kind of confusing, right? But the way that we have it set up now is we should be able to accept payments into our account. In fact, if we refresh this, look at that, payouts is now true. That's because our account now has an external account. So let's go update this accounts index view so that we have a few more, at least like little debugging details. So we're going to say that we have reference to the financial account ID, current user.account.financial account ID. Let's also give it the external account ID. All right, so at this point, we should be able to go through this flow as a brand new user, onboard, and as the result of those events, we should have charges be enabled and payouts be enabled for us. And we should end up with a financial account and an external account. So at this point, I think we are looking pretty strong in terms of onboarding and creating our financial accounts. So let's call that good for today. In the next episode, what we're going to do is I'm going to make this page a little bit more interactive. So we'll say, as soon as you've created the Stripe account, we're going to hide this button, and then we'll make this just be account singular. And then let's use Turbo or something to automatically update some of the page. So that should be fun. So if you have made it this far, I appreciate your time and attention. Hopefully this is useful. If you are trying to add embedded finance to your application, we're sort of building like a little bit of a neobank for creators as part of this process. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.